They're now fighting Islam, Islamic fundamentalism. When I was growing up, they were fighting the Cold War. They were fighting communism. What was communism? What was communism doing to people? Was it killing them, murdering, torturing them? What was communism? Could you see it? Could you touch it? Could you feel it? Could you fuck it? What was communism? Communism was an idea. And if you believed in democracy and freedom of thought, then why were you so paranoid about freedom of ideas? And if you were so against communism, why the hell didn't you Americans go to fight communism where communism started, in Russia? But oh no, they go to all the small countries to fight communism. They go to Vietnam. They go to El Salvador. They go to Nicaragua. They invade Grenada to fight communism. What threat was tiny little Grenada, a small Caribbean island of 500 people, 200 cows, 300 chickens, one fax machine and no internet service provider?
Well, sure, the question is, where is communism now?
What threat was Grenada? They went to all the small countries to fight communism, but left Russia alone.
But where is
and
communism
now all of a sudden,
doesn't exist, does it?
They fearmonger. They create for you the demons. They always have an Islamist fundamentalist in the back pocket.
You can't fight them.
They tell you to hate Saddam Hussein, yet they supported and armed and backed Saddam Hussein. They tell you to hate Osama bin Laden, yet they trained, supported, backed and armed Osama bin Laden. Imagine, you don't know where to go, where to turn, what to believe, but you switch on your TV every day, and simply because you're cushioned, because you go to work 9 to 5, you come home, you make dinner, you turn on your TV, you watch Friends, Fraser, the omnibus edition of EastEnders, you lose yourself. You make love at 9 o'clock. If you're white, you go to bed at 9:10. If you're black, you carry on right in the morning. You're tired. Either way, you're back
What
at
a
work.
stereotype.
Another stereotype. Either way, in your case, yes it is. In your case. Either way, you go back to work in the morning and you're on the treadmill. You don't really have time to digest this. The only time you really think about the impact or why people might be terrorists is when a bomb goes off in England. 7/7, the tubes go, oh wow, it's getting closer. Then you panic. And then they tell you, oh, the day after September 11th, the 7/7, they said, across the broadsheet newspaper, they said, the British people gave, the Sun said, the British people gave 2 fingers to terrorism because they went back to work, rah rah rah, was on the troops. That was a damn lie. They said the British people got together and held together. Nonsense. Let me tell you what happened on 7/7.
On 7/7?
So 7/7.
Oh, you're involved then.
On 7/7, the day of 7/7, the tube network, the transit system shut down. That meant that people who commuted into London were caught in London. What did many of the bed and breakfasts do? What did many of the hotels do? The hotels put up their prices. They increased their prices because they knew that the people were going to come in and needed to pay those prices. The day after, I travelled on the tubes. The tubes were empty. People were terrified to travel on the tubes. But the Western media sold a narrative which was disconnected from the truth. What they should have exposed was those characters who increased their prices. Those characters who did not show solidarity with the British people during our time. Those people who, because of capitalism, chose to profit. Because let's be honest, even Thatcher has said that she never recognized how far her concepts of capitalism would go. Because the world has changed since the advent of Thatcher and Reagan. Unbridled capitalism. We've become greedy human beings. We've lost touch with humanity. We've lost touch with civilization. We've lost touch with our communities. We've lost touch with our families. We've lost touch with our neighborhoods. When I was a child growing up in this country, a country which I'm very proud of, in terms of its combat against racism. Yes, it sets an example. When I was growing up in this country, a milkman came, and in fact I used to do the milk round as a little milk boy. And you go and you drop milk, gold top, silver top, or red top. And you put milk on people's door. Some might have bread and some might take eggs.
Selling on the slab.
And you could leave the milk on their doorstep and go away. And if that person had gone on holiday and forgot to cancel their milk, when they came back, they found a week's worth of milk and a week's worth of bread on their doorstep. Now, what happens? You put your milk and your bread on your doorstep and your neighbor steals it.
Yeah, the Jamaican next door.
Yeah, in Nigeria. then try and get your details to credit card for it. But we won't go into that. Imagine, I'm simply saying, look at the way we have digressed. We have devolved, sir. Look at the way we've become immoral. We now, when I was growing up, if you were working, you were proud to be working. You had a career. I'm a dustman. I've been a dustbin man for the last 20 years. I'm a postman. If you worked in the post office or worked in a bank, you might as well said you worked for Goldman Sachs. That's the prestige you had. If I worked in test, it didn't matter where you worked. You were working, your values were simple. Nowadays, if you work in a bank, you're a loser. Saying you work for HSBC on the counter, you might as well say you're a cashier for Sainsbury's or Tesco's. And in fact, nowadays, they have that attitude. They have that same attitude. You go in a bank, back in the day when you went in a bank, they were pristine. Now you go in a bank, shirts hanging out, collars up, food around the mouth. I'm saying to you, our values have gone. So we have young people aspiring for things they can never achieve. That's why we have so much crime. Don't tell me about black people being criminals. Because there is no difference between a young child who stands on a street corner and sells drugs and a person who works in the City of London and diverts £1 million. Because the motivation is the same. Greed. Greed. The man who kills his wife for the insurance money. Greed. The man who goes and robs the bank. Greed. You now have young people who do the most daring crimes. I don't know how they make money from it, but they obviously do, and it works well for them. They drive past these high street stores in central London, Knightsbridge. They're not snatching jewellery. I can understand Rolex watches and diamonds. They're snatching handbags and shoes worth £2,000 and riding around on motorbikes with this big bubble of handbags that they obviously have buyers for. It's the same motivation. Greed. We live in a society whereby greed is acceptable. If you steal enough, you're all right. If you are a banker and you go and eat in the Ivy or a nice restaurant, hello sir, how are you doing? Hello madam. If you're a celebrity, vacuous celebrity, in music or whatever, you walk past with you have enough money, you put in a nice enough car, hello sir, hello madam. If you're a bank robber who steals $1 million and decides to go out and eat in the Ivy, dress well, pull up in your nice car, hello sir, how you doing? Because you will find they're all going to the same parties. They're all in the same networks. I know people who sell drugs. I know people who sell cocaine. Of course, it's you selling them. I know people who sell drugs. Some of them sell drugs to stars, celebrities, footballers. They get away with it because that's real. But it is greed. Look at the attitudes of some of these sportsmen. Back in the day, to be a sportsman meant you were not just a sportsman or woman on the field, you're a sportsman or woman off the field. What do they do now? They're involved in all this lazy groping, rapes, abuse, sexual, because they actually believe that in society, if you're a celebrity, you're allowed these things. Who are these celebrities? These celebrities have now become the new gods. Who are they? So, Victoria Beckham.
She's nice though.
Paris Hilton. Yeah. What the hell has Paris Hilton done to be famous apart from spread her legs?
That's enough, right?
For you.
For someone else.
What has she done? What do you mean by celebrities? Back in the day, when you had a real celebrity, a celebrity was a very, very good actor. Or a very good musician. The Beatles didn't get there by accident. Look at the Beatles got there by graft and talent and working hard and ability.
Look at the
all of those forming
Tom
positions.
Tom Cruise, his behavior.
Hold on.
Wife, you know.
Hold on.
Scientology.
All of these musicians, yes, all of these musicians, these artists, they got there by hard work. But what do we have now? We have these vacuous programs where they manufacture celebrities. They call them the X Factor.
There's a market for Ishmael. We love to watch those programs.
and they market.
Look at the ratings for these programs. Come on.
Talent. But let's be honest, it's become an industry.
It's what we want.
It's what you want. Sorry, sir.
Can I talk to you for Brazilian
you
TV? Yep. How?
I mean, imagine.
Later.
It's a nonsense celebrity. We have lost values. Why have we lost these values? How have we lost these values? Because the society and the media creates it that way. When you go to check, you go to a newsagent, a grocery store. What do you have? When you go to pay, right at the front, there's all of these magazines. Hello, okay, now. You go to get your hair cut in a barber's or a hairdresser's, right on the table. Okay, hello, now. You go to the dentist's, what's on the table? Okay, hello, now. You go to the doctor's, what's in the waiting room? Okay, hello, now. You can't escape it. They push it down your throats, and then they tell you that this celebrity said that, meaning that you must give it some more importance. Look at when we talk about AIDS, famine, and war. These are serious political subjects of which we should have really seriously qualified people talking about. Instead, when we talk about AIDS, they tell you about Bono. So Bono is the expert on AIDS. When they talk about famine, Bob Geldof tells the world about what famine is. When it comes to war, George Clooney is all of a sudden the expert.
They add value, Ishmael.
So now all of our values are squeezed through the prism of celebrity. It's a nonsense. Where are the real people in society? Yes, sir.
How are you? Sorry for you.
No problem.
We are here for the Olympics.
You're here for the Olympics? You're here for the Olympics?
Yeah. We work for Brazilian TV.
Okay.
We are making a report about this place. How important is this place for the London people? I mean, it's free of speech. And I'd like to know, for how long you come here?
I've been speaking here now for 26 years. 26 years. I started speaking here when I was 18 years old. I began speaking here about issues that affected me as an individual. They were mostly black rights, abuses, racism. These are the main things that I spoke about. The more I became more educated, the more I became informed about world events. And of course the narrative changed, the debate changed. This is what we're talking about now, world events, current events.
Why do you think that there are so many people coming here just to listen to other people that they don't know?
Well, it's a free and open space, and here you get it's a great litmus test in terms of what people's views and opinions are, because you never know the audience you're going to have from week to week. I've spoken here and spoken about Iraq, and all of a sudden someone popped out of the audience and said that they were there at Alabja. They were one of the ones who Saddam Hussein used to come with weapons against, and gave us a narrative. We've spoken here, we've met Iraq, we've met soldiers, American soldiers, British soldiers. We've been fighting and engaged in conflict and war. So what we have here is an open space whereby people with real experiences. This is the real parliament. This is the real democracy. This is where democracy is really exercised, not in parliament or in some government offices. It's where the people come together to discuss and exchange ideas and opinions about world events.
Perfect. You come here every day or
every Sunday when I'm in the country. I live in Cuba half of the year. But I'm generally here when I'm here during
Your name is?
My name is Ishmahil Blagrove. Ishmahil Blagrove. Okay. Speaker's Corner is a space, and a very, very valuable and important space in terms of British democracy, and an example, a good example of what democracy should be. Actually, there should be a Speaker's Corner in every country, a space and a forum whereby people, ordinary civilians, can come and talk and exchange ideas and opinions without fear of being arrested, tortured, or abused.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You know, he asked the question he asked was about Speaker's Corner. What does it mean? But really, remember, Speaker's Corner is only free in this space. Stand outside the gates of Hyde Park, and it's a different story. You're obstructing a pathway. So Hyde Park Speaker's Corner is a great space. We should be expanding. And in fact, I believe now you will see them promoting Speaker's Corner. It's the Olympics. You'll have all of these film crews coming down, and they'll be saying, oh, Speaker's Corner, Britain is known for Speaker's Corner. Of course, Speaker's Corner has been here for over 100 odd years. People speaking it. This is where they used to hang people.
Yeah, Tyburn Square.
It was called Tyburn Square. This is where they used to hang you. Marble Arch. They hang you. And what they did was they allowed the condemned man or woman to say a few words to the audience. And they've kept on that tradition. And so what you have is the government now and other agencies exploiting the old notion of Speaker's Corner, democracy. But they have never shown the respect to the speakers of Speaker's Corner. They never promote Speaker's Corner. You'll never see Speaker's Corner on TV, in a magazine. You might see it on an in-flight brochure if you're coming into the country somewhere. But whenever they have their concerts in the park, they become ever more encroaching and encroaching. Look at them. They have their concerts. They don't give the speakers any warning. No warning whatsoever. They just bring in their concerts for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. They then drown out the speakers as though we don't exist, when we've been here for over 100 years. And that's how much respect they give the Speakers Corner. Why? Because that for them raises their profile. That for them makes money. And in this business, or in capitalism, it's all about money. If you in Speakers Corner, if you gathered here in the scores of 1,000 every week, and thought it's a great place, put it on the map.
There's a lot of bureaucracy.
A lot more respect. If they were going to have concerts, they'd be talking about pushing it somewhere else, not to interrupt Speakers Corner. Or the least they would do is a dialogue with the speakers so we could exchange information as to when things are going to happen. But with that, let me love you and leave you. The whole point of this discussion is this, that people have different points of views. Some may be radical, some we agree with, some we don't agree with. The great thing about Speakers Corner is we can all come in. We all don't have to agree, but we can express these points of view. And I believe it is healthy for any democracy, every democracy, to hear what people have to say. Else we go away and believe in the narratives of our media. And I don't blame you who just simply believe in the narrative of your media because you know nothing else. You go to work 9 to 5, you come home, you make dinner, you watch a little TV, you may go to a pub or a bar for a drink, you come home, you make love, you go to bed, you wake up, and the cycle repeats itself. On the weekend you're tired, you may come to the Speakers Corner to listen to someone for your entertainment or amusement, or you may come to the park for a picnic, or relax, or go to a movie, or visit family. Either way, you have a responsibility to educate yourself, to understand more about what is happening in the world. Don't take my word for it. Don't just buy my point of view.
Thank you for that, Ishmahil.
There is enough information out there for you to discover the facts for yourself. The wars in Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, Libya, Pakistan, Somalia, they're all imperialist wars.
It's also the manipulation of the politicians.
One last question.
Manipulation of the politicians.
Can you understand that Mossad killed the Iranian nuclear?
Can I understand that Mossad killed Iranian scientists? Yes, I would understand that, and I would agree with that. That Mossad are doing these sort of things. Yet, what do we have? We have the Western media casting doubt, saying, well, we don't know. Now, had an Iranian killed an Israeli, there'd be no dispute, they'd be ready for war. But all of a sudden,
where's your evidence?
Hold on, sir. The Western media are in denial about everything Israel does, from its war crimes, to its assassinations, to its use, to its access to nuclear weapons. The world knows that Israel has nuclear weapons. He says, where's the evidence?
No, but
Ask Benunu.
hang on. About the assassination. Hang on. Assassinations. Where's the evidence? Because you always go on evidence.
Benunu.
You always like to analyze things with evidence. Where's the evidence?
I'm giving you evidence.
Where's the evidence about the assassinations?
Sir, I believe, I don't have any evidence. I believe. When we look at Iraq, when we look at Israel, and we look at people like Benunu, who spent X amount of years in jail,
Traitor, right?
because he told the world,
his country.
He told the world about what Israel was doing with its nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
Yet, Benunu is ignored by the world's media. Look at how the Western media are always on Aung San Suu Kyi. Oh, look at her in Burma. Look at her, look at her. Why the hell has this Western media not once spoken about Benunu? Instead, look at who they give Nobel Peace Prizes to. They give a Nobel Peace Prize to Barack Obama, a man who launches wars in Pakistan, drops bombs in Libya, drops drones in Somalia, drops bombs in Afghanistan and Pakistan. They give a Nobel Peace Prize to a man who has created more wars than anyone else in the last decade. Yet, people like Benunu are overlooked for Nobel Peace Prize. They ignore him. Where is the Nobel Peace Prize Committee? Don't they know about him? Don't they know about these types of characters? They would rather give the Nobel Peace Prize to the Dalai Lama. The Dalai Lama, a man who does nothing, a man who's a puppet, who endorses American imperialism, a man who said he really liked, when he was questioned about the Iraqi war, a man who said, I really like George Bush. And he said, what about the war in Iraq? Well, you know, he's a good man. That's the Dalai Lama about George Bush. The Dalai Lama is a whore. He's a prostitute. They tried to present the Dalai Lama as some holy man. What holy man is he? Whenever you see the Dalai Lama, he has some American Hollywood celebrity beside him. Look at the Dalai Lama. He has become a celebrity. You know you become a celebrity when you feature on The Simpsons. Look at it. The Dalai Lama has become a celebrity. He buys into capitalism. He buys into imperialism. He supports imperialism if imperialism supports him in getting a free Tibet. So with that, thank you very much for listening. Power to all people.
Julian Assange of Sweden. Look how they